Chanelle Coleman Wesley is a native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She's the creative powerhouse behind Cecil's Inc., an innovative storytelling company that conveys powerful narratives to poetry, books, playwright, fashion, blogs, and motivational speaking. She is significantly inspired by late mother's penchant for prolific storytelling and developing a strong sense of faith. As a survivor of abuse, Wesley believes in passing on the communication skills she developed to cope in those environments. She is also an accomplished playwright with her latest project, a gospel stage play entitled The Beautiful Truth About an Ugly Lie, scheduled to be released soon. And on today's episode of Auto Interview, it's a pleasure to have Chanelle Coleman Wesley on the show. Welcome on the show, Chanelle.
Hello. Hi, Peter. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm so glad you had the opportunity to be able to connect.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to eventually have you on the show and speak to you, to have you talk about your books. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Chanelle, could you tell us about your book, Naked and Not Ashamed, a transformational devotional experience? How does this book come about? What inspired you to write Naked and Not Ashamed?
A few years back, we were traveling with my oldest daughter, and she was going down to Oakwood University down in Huntsville, Alabama. And we went to this amazing service where Dr. Kaltenberg was the pastor. And he had this really rousing sermon about a woman in the Bible. And it was a familiar story. But on that day, it was just something different in the way that he was communicating her story. I really felt like I deeply resonated with that woman. And I felt like other women would find that same thing to be, that same narrative to be true, even though this incident has happened over 2,000 years ago. There are so many instances within the Word of God that kind of give you semblance, and it kind of spoke to things. And so I decided, hey, I'm going to write a woman's devotional about this, about various women in the Bible. So I just kind of drew off of women who I really resonated with and whose stories really moved me. And so I just kind of compared those two and told the woman's story in the Bible, told my story, and then talked about the viewers and the readers, because readers have a story too.
Absolutely. Wow, that's great. That's such an inspiration. It's quite amazing to know what inspired you to write Naked and Not Ashamed. And I also see that you have a book titled She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically. And I want to ask, for readers like me who haven't read the book yet, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect? Picking up, she said yes to herself unapologetically.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this new release. It's something that just
Oh,
newly
wow.
released on Amazon. The
Wow.
ebook is now available for only 99 cents. She said yes to herself unapologetically. The empowerment guide for women provides 21 actionable steps that takes women from waiting on it to walking in it. As
Wow.
women, we know how to show up as nurturers, to be able to give to everyone and to be able to show up and to advocate for so many people, places, things. But most times we put ourselves and our own ideas, our aspirations on the back burner. And so it's really about talking with that woman, helping to her to realize the gifts and abilities and skills that God's placed within her, and help her to really walk within her purpose.
Wow. The sound of your book are very interesting. They sound very intriguing. I love the
Thank
sound of
you.
it. And at this point, I would love you to show a copy to the camera. I don't know if you have copies there with you. You'd love to show the camera so the viewers
I
can see
do.
what it looks like.
I do.
But
This
this is
is
the
Naked
first
and Not
one.
Ashamed.
Mm.
So this is Naked and Not Ashamed. And it's an image of a woman in the shower naked. And she's
Oh,
washing and she's not ashamed.
oh,
And the reason why I chose this image was because I think it's powerful and it speaks to women. Sometimes we have the tendency to want to close and, cover ourselves, or if
absolutely.
expose the truths about ourselves we don't want people to see. But she's
Yeah.
telling her truth and she's standing very powerfully in it.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's the first book. And the second book is She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically. And as you can see, this is the proof. It hasn't even officially come out yet, but it's going to be
Oh,
coming out soon. So this is our proof.
wow.
She said yes to herself.
That's great. I love them. I love the sound of it. It sounds very amazing. Now, I also want to ask you, Chanel, as authors, we all have different ways of reacting to feedbacks and criticism of our works. I'm curious to know your opinion about criticism. How do you react to negative criticism of your book, if you've ever had one in time past?
I think it applies an opportunity for you to grow because your book is not going to be for everybody.
Mm,
Initially, I think when you're naive about it, when you're writing, you think this book is for everybody. But you really have to determine and find out that this book is really not for everybody. It's
absolutely.
going to fit a specific audience.
Absolutely.
And so, dealing with those types of things, it helps you to be able to grow as an author.
Yeah.
Sometimes critiques can provide you some insights, help you correct something, help
Yeah.
you to appeal to a wider audience base. And I would say, just don't take things personally. When people have something to say, I try to look at what they're saying and try to see if I can grow from that. And there are
Mm,
some things that people give to you that are just kind of their opinion, and you really kind of leave those things with them. But the things that you can take from it that can benefit you and what
mm,
you do, then you take those things on, and the rest, you just kind of leave it alone.
absolutely. Well, I love your feedbacks. I love your opinion about criticism. It really makes for an interesting conversation. Now, I want to ask you, I know writing can be very tedious and could take quite a lot of time and
Definitely.
energy and, a lot of resources. I'm curious to know your experience and challenges while writing your books. If there is any, could you share with us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
I think that sometimes when you think about, writing process, I have so many ideas that are kind of fluttering around.
Hmm,
I think sometimes I have most problem trying to defend which point I'm writing from or what I'm going to tackle next. I just
absolutely.
really kind of see and create stories, and so those might be some of the challenges. Just trying to channel in on what road I'm going on and which particular project I'm going to focus on and continue to write in that vein. So I think that's one of the challenges that I face.
Wow. That's quite great to know. And Shannon, I want to ask you, apart from Naked and Not Ashamed, and she said yes to herself unapologetically, do you have any other works you've authored or you're currently working on?
Definitely. So, well, actually, I co-authored in Joy Comes in the Morning. It was a best-selling anthology, a devotional from
Wow.
80, a total of 90 co-authors participating along with myself to be able to speak to people who have faced various forms of trauma or pains or griefs, because we all experience grief on some level, whether it's a loss of a relationship, a loss of a loved one, a loss of a position or ability, just different transitions in life. So it just really kind of speaks to finding joy in that journey. I'm actually participating with an anthology right now about a restoration of joy that I'm really excited about. That's
Wow.
going to have over 150 co-authors, so it's a very big project. I'm
Wow.
excited about that. She said
Wow.
yes to herself unapologetically is providing an anthology as well. So I'm extremely excited to be able to participate in that and be the visionary. And we are still looking for authors. So anyone who has motivating stories that inspire,
Wow.
encourage, and empower women, we would definitely love to hear from you. And last but not least, I have a couple of kids' books coming out, a couple of children's books that I'm really excited about.
Wow.
So I have a lot of things coming down the pipeline this year.
Wow. That's great. I love the sound of all of these. That's quite a big project, and I'm hopeful that
Yeah.
it goes successfully.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Me too.
You're welcome. Next, I want to ask you, could you tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? What are the challenges you've encountered in terms of marketing your books? What are the mediums you've utilized so far in promoting
Uh,
your both books?
That is a very good question. I'm so glad you asked, Peter. First of all, writing your book is one thing, and I think you think when you write it,
Right.
there used to be this movie that say, "If you build it, they will come." But I'm here to tell you, if you build it, they will not
Would have
come.
gone.
You have to go to them. You really have to go to them. You really have to be strategic about
Yeah.
advertising and marketing your book. And so I started seeing book trailers when I was getting ready to like publish my first book. And I'm like, man, I really want to do those. And so I'm like, I don't want to have to pay for everything because you're paying for so many things when you're an author. and I really kind of learned to hone some crafts. So I've learned how to start doing my own book trailers, and now I'm
Oh,
doing book trailers and ads for other people and their businesses as well. It just kind of turned into a kind of cool
oh,
side hustle. But I would say anybody who's in that vein, go to Canva. She is amazing. You can do your graphics on there. You can create your
oh.
videos on there. They have some
Mm.
templates. I say, YouTube everything. I go to YouTube University. If they were handing out doctorates at YouTube for, times watched videos and content learned, I would definitely
Absolutely.
have one. So I
Mm.
would say between Canva and YouTube, you should be straight.
Wow. Wow, that's quite deep and very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. I also want to ask you, is there anything you'd love to share with the viewers about your books that we couldn't mention in this interview and you'd love the viewers to know?
Yes, actually, there is. I believe that everybody, but particularly I'm speaking to women because that is my audience, that there is so much that God has for us in this next season. And everybody is wanting to know how
Mm.
they can reach their next, or how they're going to show up on this next level, or how are they going to see themselves in a new way? How are they going to be able to do a new thing? And I want
Mm.
to say to them is that whatever your next may be, it's going to require stairs. When we think about stairs, you know, in your journey, you think, okay, how can I get around them? Can I go this way around the stairs?
Mm.
If there is an elevator around, believe me, I'll take an elevator. I'm not
Yeah,
really fond of escalators, but I'll take an escalator if I can avoid
yeah.
the stairs, because stairs require a different level of work, a different level of sweat equity, a different level of buy-in. The stairs are going to require you to show up and to show out. When we think about worship in the Bible, uh,
Mm.
there are times when sacrifices are required, and the people who were offering the sacrifices could take portions and eat some of those portions. And then there were times that parts of the sacrifice, only the majority was taken, but a small portion might have been discarded. But then there were times that they had to consume the entire animal, the entire sacrifice. And that's really what your stairs is. It's your all. In order to get to your next level, whatever that may be in life, if it's in your profession, in your business, even in your relationships, in your spirituality, it's going to require your all of your buy-in. So
Mm.
go ahead and make sure that you buy in, and you show up for yourself. Because again, so many times we're showing up for everybody around us, but we don't show up for ourselves. And that's what I really love about She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically, because it provides 21 actionable steps,
Wow.
taking a woman from waiting on it to walking in it.
Wow. Well, these are very great. I love the sound of your book, actually. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Now, I also want to ask you, Shannon, as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for other writers who are still struggling with publishing a book? What do you tell people in this category?
Definitely. I want to say for people who are struggling, I would
Mm.
challenge them just to continue to do it. Sometimes we don't do things because we're scared. And we
Absolutely.
think that because we're scared, that allows us permission to stop. But I
Mm.
say, your fears don't allow you the permission that you want to have to be able to check out on yourself and your dreams.
Mm.
I would say find reputable people. If you want to be an author, hang out where the authors hang.
Mm.
Start joining communities where you can find support and make connections.
Mm.
Nobody makes it in this island alone. So you find people who
Absolutely.
are in the same genre, you
Yeah.
know, that are
Mhm.
going to have some of the similar audiences. Start blogging. Even if you're starting small, but just go ahead and do it. Do it scared.
Wow.
Don't allow your fears to cage you, and just continue to be consistent. Write your short-term goals and your long-term goals. If you're looking to be traditionally published, then you can go ahead and try to make that route be a route for you. But then there are also self-publishing opportunities available too. So they have to determine what's the best role for them. There is no cookie cutter or one size fits all. Each person is going to have to make the decisions that's best for them and for their brand, and they know what they're marketing. So just trust their instincts as well.
Wow, I love your advice, and I'm hopeful that viewers, including myself, would love to utilize it. Now, at this point, Shannon, I want to ask you, where can readers get a copy of your book? Because we have viewers who would love to get a copy. On what platform is it available on?
Thank you so much, Peter. I truly appreciate that question. They can get She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically and Naked and Not Ashamed on Amazon for only 99 cents if they get the ebook. But I would
Wow.
say if they're going to get the physical book, then I would definitely love for them to come to my website, and that's www.shesaidyes2herself.com. That way I can sign the book for them, and I always send trinkets and different things. So
Wow,
it helps
wow.
us to be able to be in connection and kind of stay in contact. So I definitely want to be able to have an opportunity to connect with readers.
Yeah, that's great. And I've left a link in the description part of this interview to Shana's website and also to the Amazon page of both books. So thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on the show. It's a pleasure having you on P English Literature.
Thank you again for having me, Peter. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you.